So look, we'll talk about INACIO, since that is the title of tonight's stream, and I want to repay everyone for being in nice and early. So, two things about this, right? So, it's been reported by multiple journalists that Gonzalo Inacio has rejected an offer from Newcastle United, as he's currently waiting for Liverpool, and then they do go on to say, or Real Madrid, or Manchester United. Liverpool have already reached out to his agents, according to this piece, and say that somebody is going to have to pay the £52 million or €60 million release clause. Now, Liverpool aren't going to do that this month. But, like we've said all along, if, and I don't know if he is or not, but if he's number one on Klopp's list, and somebody else tried to sign him this month, then it will be interesting to see if Liverpool spring into action. But I guess we got to figure out if he's really number one on our list first. Now, we're number one on his list, which is a good thing. But that's one story. And then there's another one, let me just go through my notes, that says Portugal defender Gonzalo Inacio is holding out for a move to Liverpool. That's coming from O Jogo, who are a Portuguese outlet. They say he has a release clause, which we all know about, at £52 million or €60 million. They do talk about other clubs being interested, Newcastle, Manchester United, Real Madrid, but he is understood to favour a transfer to Anfield, and the article says that a January switch is unlikely. And that's good to hear, because he's damn right. Okay, look, Real Madrid would be a pretty impressive club to sign for if that was an option to him. But if you're looking at the others, if you're looking at Newcastle, you're looking at Manchester United, you're looking at Liverpool, I don't blame him holding out for Liverpool. I'd be holding out. Because United right now are, who knows what way that project's going to go. I don't think anybody really believes that Ten Hag's going to be there in 18 months. I certainly don't. So you'd have to look for consistency as well. Newcastle, look, you know, they have a bit of a issue with FFP at the minute, just trying to make sure they can balance their books. So they probably have to sell a player or two before they can free up money to start to rebuild a squad again. So it feels like we're playing the waiting game unless our hand is forced. That's what I take from this. So let's wait and see what happens between now and the end of this window. But if not, but it just makes me more confused. I can't lie, it makes me confused because I can't get away from the fact that last summer, as we all know, he had a release clause that was rumoured to be about €40 million. And we didn't want to do business. And he was waiting and waiting. And eventually nobody came in for him. So he signed a new contract at Sporting Lisbon. That protected his value for them. Gave him a wage increase as well, I'm sure. But it also had a higher release clause in there. And that number is believed to be €60 million, which is about £52 million with today's conversion. So that's where we're at with INACIO, and it feels like we're going back to last summer. So I don't know what, maybe if the Matip situation has changed Klopp's thought process, but even at that, I remember before Joel picked up his injury, there was lots of talk from the journalists that we were going to be looking at centre back next summer anyway, and that Liverpool were focusing on midfield this summer and then centre back next summer or defence next summer. So I don't know, it just feels weird that why wouldn't you have bought him? Even if you didn't need him, loan him back to Sporting for a year. I don't understand why we didn't pay that release clause and save ourselves money in the long term. But look, it is what it is. If Liverpool do go back in from, I fully expect Sporting to hold out for the release clause. But the question will be, can Liverpool maybe get to the release clause number, but a more favourable payment structure perhaps could be negotiated between the two clubs? I don't know. If we're going to next summer, I can't help but feel there may be better options for us, and especially if we're looking at that type of price point, over 50 million quid. I don't know, there seems to be better value for me in the market, but we do have the fact that his age profile is definitely right for us. But look, maybe somebody else has an answer. For me, I can't get past the 40 million, lads. I can't. It just seems, again, like we're being penalised for pausing and waiting. And I've seen that a lot in the years with Liverpool. Us holding off, a player goes elsewhere, like Verge, as an example. We were tipped about Verge when he was at Celtic. I think Gary McAllister said it was Brendan Rodgers. Brendan Rodgers didn't think that he was going to cut it in the Premier League at that point. Went to Southampton, proved he could absolutely cut it in the Premier League. And then we went and paid £75 million for him when they got him for 12. So there are sometimes I do question why we don't do these things earlier, even if it does mean maybe having to loan a player out. But then again, I'm sure the finances have something to do with it and the account. So, what else we got? If we signed INACIO, we probably wouldn't have seen Kwanzaa come through. Maybe, yeah, that's a very fair point. But in another way, we've still seen Kwanzaa come true, and now we're still going to have to pay more for him anyway. For INACIO, I mean. So I still don't know how it benefits us, other than knowing that Jarell Kwanzaa is obviously, Premier League material. Craig, do you think Lenny Yoro is better than INACIO? I gotta be honest, Raquelme Anthony, I know nothing about Lenny Yoro other than he's 18 years of age, he plays for Lille, and he's rumoured to be worth about 80 million euro. That is the extent of my knowledge of him. I didn't even know he existed, mate, until we were linked with him. I don't come on and lie to you, I could pretend to be a hipster and know all these players, but never heard of Lenny Yoro until we were linked with him. Is the title really true? Well, yes, it is. According to reports coming out of Portugal and Portuguese newspapers, yes, mate. He has rejected Newcastle's advances anyway, according to this report, and he's holding out for Liverpool. They do mention Real Madrid and United, but they say that Liverpool and Anfield is where he really wants to go to, so I guess the ball's in our court in that regard. But as the article also suggests, and as the journalists have said on our side, it's unlikely that Liverpool will do anything in January with regards to INACIO, unless somebody maybe comes in and puts an offer in before the window closes. Then it'll be interesting to see if we do click into gear or not. Do you think there's a strong chance we get INACIO? I mean, I can only go off what's in the media, mate. And by what's in the media, the links haven't gone away since the summer, even though we signed a new deal. But I can't sit here and say to you that I know 100% he's Klopp's number one target. I don't know if anybody does. We've mentioned them before as Zubamendi and Mikel Merino. What do you think? And Zubamendi is the one that stands out to me. What would you pay for Zubamendi? Or have you seen a release clause for him? And for people coming in about INACIO, don't worry, I'll go back through it again before we finish up. And yes, what we've put in the title is what he is believed to be certainly feeling and putting out there, that he has rejected Newcastle and that Liverpool are the ones he's holding out for. You mean Emirates? Why, what did I say? Did I say something else? Did I say Etihad? Sorry, mate. Sometimes my brain slips if that's the case. I think he has a 50 million release clause. So I do like Zubamendi. He's somebody that I think will get a move somewhere. And you can't but like the way Sociedad play either. They're very easy to watch. But I don't know much about Merino, to be honest. Mikel Merino. I don't know too much about him. I see his name on the score sheet a fair bit.